multiplying rational expressions. So right there in that top box, you'll see there are two notes. It says if the problem contains monomials only. So let's look at these examples 9 through 12 right here. Okay, 9 and 10 have just monomials. Okay, a monomial, reviewing that idea, mono means one, meals means terms. So one term, yes, I realize we've got numbers and variables and we've got a bunch of stuff going on here, but terms are separated by pluses and minuses. Okay, so 11 and 12 have binomials and trinomials because they have 2 terms in the numerator and 3 terms in the denominator. Okay, 9 and 10 have just monomials. So what we're going to do with that is we are going to multiply together, because think about when you multiply fractions. Go back to elementary school for a minute. When you learn how to multiply fractions, what do? You multiply the numerators, you multiply the denominators, and then you simplify if you can. Same thing's going to happen here. We're going to multiply our numerators, we're going to multiply our denominators, and then we're going to simplify. Okay, I'll get to the instructions on binomials and trinomials when we get to those examples. All right, so let's look at number 9. So if we multiply in the numerator here, we've got 6 times 10 would be 60. X squared times x cubed. What do we do with exponents when we multiply their bases? We add the exponents. Very good. So x squared times x cubed is x to the 5th. Y cubed times y to the 4th would be y to the 7th. Thank you. Okay, in the denominator, 2 times 18 is 36. X squared, we don't have an x squared in the other denominator, so we just bring it down. And y squared times y squared is y to the 4th. So we multiplied, now we've got to simplify. So we want to simplify 60 over 36. Now you can do that in your calculator. You type it in, turn it to a fraction. Or, let's see here, what would be the biggest number that goes into both 60 and 36? 12. Okay, it is 12. So 60 divided by 12 is 5. 36 divided by 12 is 3. Go ahead, Dakota. All right. What do we do with exponents when we're dividing them? Subtract. Okay, when we multiply, we add. When we divide, we subtract. So we do top minus bottom. Okay, or I like to look at it this way. I do the biggest number minus the smallest number, and then you put it where it was the biggest. Okay, so 5 minus 2 is 3. It was bigger in the top, so x cubed goes in the numerator. Okay, same thing with y to the 7th over y to the 4th. 7 minus 4 is 3. It was bigger in the top, so it goes in the numerator. This is fully simplified. Okay, that is fully simplified there. All right. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so let's multiply straight across the numerator. 4 times 5 is 20. A squared times a cubed is a to the 5th. B squared times b to the 6th is b to the 8th. Over 15 times 12. I'm not going to do that one this morning without a calculator. What? 180. Thank you, Jason. 180. A times a to the 4th is a to the 5th. B cubed times b to the 7th is b to the 10th. So let's simplify. 20 over 180. 20 divides into 180 evenly. That leaves us with 9. But it's in the denominator because 180 was in the denominator. A to the 5th over a to the 5th, those cancel. Okay, a to the 5th over a to the 5th cancels, or you can look at it as 5 minus 5 is 0. Anything to the 0 power is just 1. Okay. B to the 8th over b to the 10th. 10 minus 8 is 2. It was bigger in the bottom, so b squared goes in the bottom. I don't have anything in the numerator. What do I need to put there? A 1. Okay, I need to put a 1 there to hold the place in the numerator. Okay, so pretty simple, right? Okay, well, if it has binomials and trinomials, the instructions up there say factor everything you can first, then we're going to simplify. Okay, so once again, factoring's back. Okay, it's not going anywhere. Let's factor that first numerator, 4x squared minus 4x. It's a binomial, so that means most likely we're just looking at there being a GCF. And those two terms both have a 4, and they both have an x. So that's 4x. Okay, when we take 4x out of 4x squared, we're left with an x and a minus 1, right? Because it was negative 4x. Okay, now here's the truth about this. When you multiply these rational expressions, it's really like it just becomes one big fraction, okay? So I'm just going to keep going across the numerator here and factoring. X squared plus x minus 6, that's a trinomial, 3 terms, so that means I'm going to have 2 sets of parentheses. And that's going to factor into x plus 3 times x minus 2. Positive 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Positive 3 plus negative 2 is positive 1. Okay, denominator. Let's see here. What do we need to do with that first denominator? Has GCF of 2. So take out the 2. X squared plus 2x minus 3. How about that second denominator? And GCF as well. They both have a factor of 4 and they both have an x. What are we left with? X plus 2. Am I finished factoring yet? Nope. We got one more thing there to factor. X squared plus 2x minus 3. So just to save myself a little bit of room, I'm just going to write it right here below it. X plus 3 times x minus 1. And I'm going to mark that out right there because I replaced it. Okay, so I just factored it right below it so that I didn't have to rewrite all that other stuff. All right, so let's see here. What can we cancel? What shows up in both the numerator? Because it's fully factored. We've got factor times factor times factor. Now we can cancel stuff. I see 4x in the top and in the bottom, so we can cancel those. X minus 1, we've got that in the top and the bottom. We can cancel those. We've got x plus 3 in the top and in the bottom. Can I cancel the last thing? Nope, sure can't, because it's minus 2 in the numerator and plus 2 in the denominator. And don't lose that little GCF of 2 right there in front. We couldn't cancel that out either. So this simplifies down to x minus 2 times 2 times x plus 2. You can multiply that out if you want to. You really don't need to. I would leave it in factored form. If you want to leave parentheses around the x minus 2 in the top, that's fine. You don't need them. They're not going to show up in a multiple choice answer choice, but if you want to leave them there, that's fine. Okay, let's do one more here. Let's do number 12. 10v minus 5v squared. Now, what do I not like about that already? Huh? Yeah, it's a negative 5v squared. That should come first. Okay, we always want these things in standard form. So right above it, I'm just going to change the order. I'm going to put it in the correct order. Negative 5v squared plus 10v. Let me look and see if anything else is messed up like that. It's not, so we're good. All right, so let's start with our factoring now. We need to take out the negative 5 and the v. Okay, when we take out the negative 5 and the v, we're left with positive v minus 2, because we did positive 10 divided by negative 5. That's negative 2. Okay, let's keep going across the numerator here. It's a trinomial, so it's a binomial times a binomial. V times v gives me v squared. 9 and 1. Let's see here. We need negative 9 plus 1 to get negative 8. All right, denominator. We got another trinomial, so binomial times binomial. V times V gives me V squared. What factors of 18 will add to give me 11? Good, -9 and -2. Okay, -9 and -2, excuse me, multiply to give me 18 and add to give me -11. What can we do with the 15V? Nothing. We just leave it there. It's a single term. We just leave it there. All right, so let's see what we can cancel. What shows up in the top and the bottom? V minus 2, V minus 9. Anything else? Just the V. We can cancel just those V's because they're a part of a factor. Think back to number 9 and 10. Is there anything else we can simplify here? The 5 and the 15. Okay, we most certainly can. 5 over 15 leaves us with 3. Okay, I'll leave the negative in the numerator because we don't like negatives in the denominator, so just leave the negative up there. But 5 over 15 leaves us with 3. So let's see what we've got left. We've got a negative sign in the numerator and V plus 1. You do have to keep the parentheses here because of that negative. Okay, you do have to keep the parentheses there because of the negative. And in the denominator, all we got left is 3. Okay. Now, you may see this. They may distribute that negative in the answer choice. So you do need to recognize this as negative V minus 1 all over 3. Okay, just distributed that negative to that factor that was left there. Okay, we good with that?